We were canoeing up by Mason City, and we were about halfway down the river, and we started getting phone calls stating that something really bad happened in our town of Parkersburg. And we came up over the hill just east of our house, and we could see that everything was gone. Bill Hunziker stopped by our house, I believe it was the day after the tornado. He had a check for us just so we could start the rebuilding process and getting ourselves back on track. Allied and Nationwide did a wonderful job at the claims process. It couldn't have gone smoother.
In my opinion, you have to take the time to get to know the people in order to serve them in the best way you know how. And that's what I enjoy the best.
We had another insurance company with the dental practice, and it did not go smoothly. As of, I think, 2 months ago, I have switched to Allied for my dental practice insurance, and I'm very pleased with that.
Within a day, we knew exactly what our claim count was going to look like. We got the right number of resources on the ground. Many of our large loss associates were up here. We had some of our core associates up here. We had some people that were specializing in farm claims that were up here. We had such a great team approach. I'm so proud of these guys for coming together the way they did and getting on the ground and knocking this thing out as quick as they could.
But within 24 hours, we had people on the ground assessing the situation and asking questions. That's what was very nice for me.
Probably the unsung heroes, we had those folks that were here. We also had many of our associates working back in the office in Des Moines, from the call center taking the calls to our associates, casualty associates and material damage and property associates.
I basically had come in and started rewriting policies and doing anything I could, answering the phone, whatever they needed me to do, because also the people in the office were affected just like everybody else in the community. They'd all lost their homes too, so they had personal issues to deal with just as everybody else did.
I would say we probably looked at well over 100 cars. Everyone that we dealt with was very appreciative that we were on the spot so soon and that we were able to take care of things immediately, issue payments as far as to settle their auto claim in a timely manner.
It was shortly after the storm that happened that we had two teams that actually went up to Parkersburg and basically assigned certain areas of the disaster area where actually it was in the golf course and the fields, that we actually just went and picked up from that different materials, just little tiny pieces of everything, just to help the fields, being able to get the corn to start growing, some of the beans to start growing.
I was able to give him initial advice, but Jason Johnson was the adjuster that was assigned to it, the claim rep, and Jason's obviously very experienced, but in that type of situation, you also need to be a good people person. And number one, Allied has a tremendous golf course program, so the coverage was there. Not only was Jason in almost constant contact with Greg, the golf pro and owner, but he also kept me informed. Greg was calling me saying, this is what Jason's telling me, and it was right on all the way through.
My stairs were still there, so I went up those and pushed my way out of an interior door, and I looked south of me. There was maybe a third of the structure on mine standing, and south of me there was nothing. And I was a little apprehensive at first, meeting with an adjuster. You don't know what you're gonna get. So you're a little guarded, and right away I could tell that everything was fine.
What I found with Allied is from day one, we've always had a good relationship. Even before the tornado, we had a great relationship with claims, we had a great relationship with underwriting, so this isn't new. However, it was just taken to another level of service. I mean, service is the big thing here, and the service that these people were giving to my customers was phenomenal from the standpoint of they were always willing to talk.
Done right, it was professional. They came to me if I asked. It was the right way to do it. I don't know what they could have done that would have been any better than what they did.
I have people every week, not just sometimes here and sometimes there, but every week at least 1 or 2 people, not to mention there's several businesses that have said, we want Allied, because that's the company that just keeps coming up over and over amongst conversations in the restaurants, just on the streets, at people's houses. They want a company that actually performed.
Allied, for me, it was fantastic, and I wouldn't even consider doing somewhere different, even if it was a little more or a little less money. It's just not worth it.
The tagline says it all. We're on your side. We're not across the table, we're sitting alongside.